Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we are once again talking about something that makes me very, very happy, and it is Tolkien's book, The Fellowship of the Ring, the Fellowship of the Ring book discussion. We are here with Steve Kenobi and Rennie A. Rennie, welcome to Miss Martin Muses.
Thank you so much, Miss Martin. I'm really excited to be here, very honored to be asked, and Tolkien is a big passion of mine, so I am very, very happy to be talking about this.
Excellent. And Steve, how are you today?
I'm good. I just had some meat soup-ish thing, and I have soda, and yeah, I'm just, my normal hateful self.
I'm here with some coffee that you would definitely disapprove of. It's cinnamon vanilla flavored coffee.
Yeah, which is a travesty of sin and a batshit crazy thing to do.
I have actually come to appreciate cinnamon and coffee lately. I tried it again a couple months ago, and I'm like, this isn't bad.
Spit it out.
It's really not bad.
It is bad.
Yeah, you see, you need to open up your mind, Steve. You need to open up your mind. But yeah, cinnamon and coffee is always.
I'll tell you one thing.
Okay.
Later on, when you've passed away and you're standing in front of St. Peter at the pearly gate, and he asks you about that fucked up coffee, you will find that the answer you're going to give him will not suffice.
Oh my.
I doubt it. I don't see it anywhere in the Bible or tradition where it says that is a question that's going to determine whether or not we get into heaven.
It's a sin. Okay. A lot to say about sin.
Okay, Pope Stieg. Here we go. We heard it from him first. Well, hello, everyone coming in. Hello. If you haven't already liked, shared, and subscribed, please go ahead and do so. It is always great to see Snortopupus Cuber. Yay, our polar bear. We have lots of animals that like to watch my channel. Keck44, mod with the most. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Ron Fiasco, welcome, welcome. Hello, I actually just watched a video on Bakshi's interpretation of Lord of the Rings. So this seems to be a theme so far today. Hey, welcome to Miss Martin Muses. And thank you for being here for this conversation, the Fellowship of the Ring. Hail, everyone, says Shane Nolan. Hello, welcome from across the pond. And everyone's saying hi to each other. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for being here. Well, Rennie, I would like for you to maybe share a little bit of your background about Tolkien. How did you first hear about him and his stories, and share your journey with him?
Absolutely.
You know what? I bet it wasn't in the school library like it was for me.
Oh, no.
Okay, that's a bit of a private joke. Steve, let the lady speak.
So when I was a young kid, my mom was very into Tolkien, and she read, she started off with the Hobbit book, and she read that to me, and then she read all of the Lord of the Rings books, and then she introduced me to the Rankin Bass cartoons, which I totally fell in love with as a child. And I always, growing up, I read them periodically throughout my life because my mom had such a passion for it. And when she would read, she would, do the voices, and, everybody would kind of sound different. And I'm not talented in that respect, but she was, and she still is. But it just really ignited my passion. So when I watched the cartoons, and the people kind of sounded like her a little bit, or the characters kind of sounded like her, I thought that was really cool. But I always wondered, why can't they make this into a live action film? And then, 2001 hit, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I still read them periodically every couple of years. I really love these books. They're very descriptive. I even love the Silmarillion, which is one of the hardest books I've ever read in my life, because it's so detailed. But it's a great book if you can get through it. And this man was a talented writer. He created his own language, or languages, I should say. Something I don't think I have the capacity to do, but I commend him for it. I don't know how he did it, but that's awesome. And yeah, I never get bored of it. Every time I pick them up and I read the stories, I always catch details that I didn't catch before,
Yeah.
something I really enjoy.
Excellent. Yeah, I've read through the Silmarillion too. It's definitely a bit of an acquired taste. As long as you know what you're getting into and you approach it as a source book, maybe like a history book, I think it's a lot easier to read through.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely reading The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit first
Mhm.
was made it a lot easier because you could reference things a little bit better and know the lore of the elves and the dwarves and all of that versus just getting right into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely not recommend anyone try to begin with the Silmarillion.
Yeah,
Oh
please
my
do not.
You'll never read it. You'll think everyone's insane for loving all this stuff. Well, Snorta Poopas, he says, my 5th grade teacher assigned The Hobbit to read, and the mother bear made a mistake and bought The Lord of the Rings, which I started reading. Bless her and R.I.P. Oh, well,
Aw.
that's a great backstory. And sorry to hear about your mother. Yes, R.I.P. indeed. Yeah, yeah. I read The Hobbit first. My brother had it, and then I eventually read the actual novels when I was in college. And as Steve reminded us, yes, he got it from his school library. Yeah, that's a bit of a slightly private joke because we were discussing that previously in the back room. Well, welcome everyone coming in, and welcome everyone who is watching this on the rerun, the rewatch. Rennie, we have previously gone up to where the ring goes south, so we're up in past Rivendell.
Okay.
Before we move on, I wanted to ask you, is there anything perhaps in the introduction of this novel, the events that lead up to there, that particularly struck you that you'd like to share before we move on?
Well, for me, a couple of things. So for me, when I first started reading it after I had seen the cartoon movies or the Rankin Bass movies, I didn't realize that Frodo was 50 plus years old when he goes on his adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you just think that this is this young guy and, he's going on, he's doing just like Bilbo did, but he's a little bit younger. No, he's pretty much the same age. So that was pretty striking to me. I thought that was kind of a neat thing because, if you watch the live action movies, the party happens, like Bilbo's birthday party happens, and then Frodo takes off. That's not how it happens in the book. He waits, I think, what is it, 20 years?
Yep.
Yeah, so he waits a good 20 years. And I thought that was a really interesting thing to get your head around. It's like, wow, that was a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But one chapter that I've always had difficulty with is Tom Bombadil. I really didn't understand the importance of Tom Bombadil, and I
Mm-hmm.
still don't get it. I feel like it's just kind of a little sidetrack to keep everything from being so dark. But other than that, I've just never really understood the purpose of Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Yeah, he's kind of weird, isn't he? And he's
Yeah,
got
it's
that.
just, oh yeah, the world is gonna, get destroyed, and this ring is evil, and I have to sing a song about flowers.
And I think if I remember right, his wife has like, I don't know, this like dress that basically just kind of turns into water as she walks, or so to speak. And it's really just this. It's just really weird and silly to me, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tolkien himself wasn't always entirely sure where that was all coming from, but he felt like it needed to stay. It was talking a little bit about original innocence, maybe trying to show that there was something beyond and before the ring, but it definitely is another dimension of the novel, and one can certainly understand why in adaptations it's usually not portrayed, because it's hard enough to do it in the book, let alone in some sort of novel form. The main thing that we get out of it practically is he does give them some of their weapons, and one of them is the one that Mary uses.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
But understood. He's definitely an enigma, and I enjoy reading the chapters on their own, kind of almost like a Cimmerillion moment, maybe. Because yeah, we never really see him again, do we?
No, not really.
No.
He was in The Hobbit, and then he's in the beginning of Lord of the Rings, and then you never see or hear from him again.
Wait, he's in The Hobbit?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
pretty
Was
sure
he?
he was in The Hobbit. I thought.
Well, he was in a short story that he
Oh,
had
maybe
written.
that's it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's very odd. I think it's just he's trying to remove a bit of a veil from what is reality and not reality. Some people have said it's like that they live in the Garden of Eden, that they're very much those kind of characters, original innocence, and that's why the ring didn't affect them and all that. But yeah, it was very odd. Well, okay. Is anything else you wanted to share before we move on?
And no, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Put you on the hot seat. What do you want to share? And say it
Put the
now.
spotlight on me. Yeah.
Say it now. Okay, yeah, no more of that. Okay, well, last time we saw our gang, we went. We started to leave south. We had the fellowship all set up, and we see them starting to get to know each other as they're moving when the ring goes south, which has been noted is perhaps a little bit dirty sounding, but it's not. It's going south as far as geography, not anywhere else.
Yeah, Redney thought it sounded dirty, but
I really
I
did.
didn't.
You so
No,
lie. You did too.
he's a liar. Steve lies. Yes. Yeah, and I must note that Steve does not like all the songs, but I actually rather like them. And the way this chapter starts off is Bilbo decides to sing a big song to Frodo before they take off.
Yeah,
Um,
that is kind of weird. I will be honest with you. That song's kind of weird. I feel like the songs more fit like The Hobbit because The Hobbit was more jovial and fun, whereas Lord of the Rings feels like it's more serious. So I will say, reading them again from time to time, it's like, oh yeah, they sing a lot. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. You know?
Imagine being a ring wraith and you're like, I wonder where the hobbits are. And then, oh yeah, over there, I can hear singing.
Yeah, exactly.
Really stealthy.
Exactly.
Oh, come on. It's not all that bad. But,
It almost is though.
yeah.
Well, but to be fair and to be honest, they could actually have traced them by looking for smoke because they smoke pipe weed all the time too. So there's that.
Yeah, they
Yep.
were following the pot.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I noted as I'm starting looking through this chapter, we have Aragorn saying how quiet everything is, and he's very uneasy. And then we see that big cloud of
Well,
birds or whatever.
of course, it would say that because Bilbo's incessant singing had just stopped. Like, it's weird. It's quiet now.
Hey, before you hit Strider, remember that he sang too. He sang
Yes.
for 2 pages.
Yeah.
But wasn't it mainly the lament of Beren and Luthien that he was singing?
Correct.
Which is kind of a reflection of his own life. I think that's why I don't mind Aragorn's song because I love the story of Aragorn and Arwen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's a good song, but technically that would have alerted the ring race.
yeah. True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Well, and anyways, I think that this part is really creepy. Now they did a good job of it in the movie, the way they showed it, but it's just very eerie. And then he's like, lie flat and still, and he hisses. And there came straight toward the ridge. Sam thought they were a kind of crow of large size as it passed overhead in so dense a throng that their shadow followed them darkly over the ground below. One harsh croak was heard. It's like, dang. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had that one in the movie too.
Yes.
Yes.
And they did add a little more bonding in that with Boromir, where he has Boromir teaching Merry and Pippin some sword thing, and they're all having uh play playing around and wrestling and having fun. And Pippin's complaining that there's no fire and they're moving by night. And he said, all because of a pack of crows. I would have smacked him so hard. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, what are you complaining about? But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm leafing through here. They do not do any singing at this point. They kept their big mouths shut.
Yeah.
So
Because they were afraid, I think.
yeah, they're not allowed to have fires and stuff. They're not allowed to sing. You know. So in any case, so off they go, and they end up trying to go through that pass. And I really like this part where Boromir, he shows that he has concern and care for the hobbits. He's saying, this will be the death of the halflings, and then he actually helps them out and he carries them to help them with the snow because they're so small that they're going to freeze to death.
Yeah, I thought that was really awesome. Like,
Yeah.
he is a pretty corrupt character, but you do see the goodness in him trying to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do appreciate that. And it's just kind of sad he turns into a tragic character because, like, in Gondor, he was such a hero, and the ring corrupted him, and it was unfortunate.
Well, he is also the only one, as far as I know, that broke free of the ring's corruption.
At the end, yes, I
Yes,
agree
because
with you.
he got corrupted and then he snapped out of it. I don't think anyone else has done that. Not once the ring has taken hold.
Yeah, good point. Because a lot of them were tempted by the ring. They were tempted to try to take the ring from Frodo, but they never actually did so.
Yeah,
you're right.
So what happens with Boromir is almost a bit like what happens to Anakin in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Oh,
very good analogy.
Yeah, I know.
it's so humble.
know.
That's true. And he didn't quite fall so far, though. He didn't become a space mittler and
Burn
I
blow
know.
up planets.
But
Yeah.
it took protecting the two hobbits to make him snap out of it, and in Star Wars it takes
His children or his son.
protect So there's similarities.
Yeah.
Very good. I would
Okay.
never have compared the
Also,
two.
if you think about it, the end of the Lord of the Rings is almost the same as the end of Return of the Jedi, with Palpatine / the ring being tossed into a pit by the one who was the most corrupted by it.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm. So Anakin is Gollum, basically.
Well, but to counter that, Gollum didn't really toss it. He
No,
fell.
he fell.
Yeah.
But it's still the same thing, though. It's the same ending sequence almost.
Yeah. Yeah, the universal themes that he has, and also shows how much we are indebted to Tolkien. Almost every fantasy story and book was a tribute to what happened in the Lord of the Rings. Okay, Snortopupus Kuber says to you, I suppose, Stieg, you don't get any more singing until Gimli lets loose in Moria. Well, there we are. And that's
Great.
probably
Great place to sing, the acoustic and all, and the Balrog down below.
Yeah.
yeah.
Smart move.
Good way to summons him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ron Fiasco says, never thought of that. Interesting. Yes, definitely the theme. Yes. It's Shane says, Isildur seems to have realized about the ring. He was on his way to Rivendell to ask for Elrond's advice, I think.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He got killed when he was on his way to Rivendell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that's how Schmeagol found it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, I forgot about that. Then.
Is this the chapter where they get attacked by wolves?
Probably.
Yeah,
Let me
because
see. It's
they
been
have
a
a fight
while.
against wolves, and that's not in the movie.
Yeah.
Boromir chops the head of a wolf and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's
I think
awesome.
so.
Yes. Yeah, they moved the kind of a wolf thing in the middle of the two towers, but
Yeah.
not the. Yeah. Well, just showing that it's not just the spiritual stuff, that the spiritual corruption is being manifest in animals, like that the animals kind of belong to the bad guys in this, in a way that they're perhaps even subtly, or how do I say this, that they are not that they're necessarily being possessed by the bad guys, but just that the animals coming after them, like the wolves going after the sheep. I don't know.
Well,
Well-
it's there's a lot of Norse mythology in the Lord of the Rings. Gandalf is kind of like Odin, you know, and wolves play a hell of a big part in, especially in the Ragnarok mythology. So it's a time for wolves and axes and all that.
Oh.
Final battle thing.
Oh my gosh. And of course, Tolkien would have been very well aware of all of that with his background.
Yeah, I mean
Absolutely.
the ring, I believe, is from the Ring of the Nibelungs, which is a German poem, but
Mhm.
it's also in Scandinavian mythology.
Yep.
So it's tied to the Siegfried the Dragon Slayer story, I believe.
Oh, yes. Shane Nolan says, and wolves are the sigil of his house. Or Ned Stark says, oh, okay. I was about ready to say, we're mixing up stories here. Yes. And Ron Fiasco says, good point about spiritual corruption affecting nature. It makes sense. Thank you.
Yes.
That was the wording I was looking for. Thank you. Keck 44 says, dang it, Teresa, now I'm gonna have to read the dang book. Well, that's what we're here for, because there's a lot of things to complain about right now.
It's one of the best books ever written.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Precisely. And that's kind of what we want to do, to quote Rose Tico. Share what we love, not what we hate. Because there's a lot to not like right now in some of the fiction, including what might be coming with the Amazon's Lord of the Rings. But we always have the original. We can always go backwards. And
get physical copies of everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
not
I am
digital.
so grateful I have mine.
Yeah. Yeah, because what we have going on right now is the digital stuff is susceptible to being censored or changed without us even knowing about it.
Yeah, I have a couple of digital books and they have been edited. That's not a lie. It's legit.
Mhm.
Yeah, they Disney removed Daryl Hannah's ass from Splash as well.
Yeah.
Everyone noticed that one.
It's not a vital part of the story, but it's like someone's mom holding her hands over your eyes, so you don't see the stuff you're not supposed to see, right?
Precisely. Yes, Nordapupa says, wolves or some kind of demon-possessed wolf. I hesitate to call them werewolves because of the Germanic mythology. Tolkien sometimes called them wargs, which is derived from the Old Norse Vagr. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, it's called Varg. The R is redundant, really.
Okay.
We still say Varg when it comes to wolves.
Oh.
Sometimes, yeah.
That's
cool.
Cool.
It's just a different name for, kind of like if you say pig and hog and whatever, swine, stuff like that.
Wow. Well, the more you know. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. My grandmother used to say whenever she came over for dinner and she ate till she got stuffed, right? Mm-hmm. She'd call it a Varg meal. Because you're eating big time, right?
Well, like I know in America, like if you like quote unquote wolf it down,
Yeah, same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Well, Hey, we're learning a lot here today. This is what I love about these things. Yeah, Keck says I read the opening of The Hobbit on a stream. Yes, I used to do nighttime reading and you end up reading everything again. Well, good. And then my job here is done. My job here is done.
I had someone ask me to read The Hobbit for her once
Aw,
Aw.
because I sound English.
yes, you do.
I didn't do it though
Oh,
Why not?
because the whole damn book didn't want to. I read a chapter.
oh.
Come on.
Well, yeah, you're not a book on tape person.
What?
You just spread it out through like out a week or two or something, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
yeah.
Oh.
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Well, you could work for Audible, Steve.
No.
Oh, come on.
Amazon owns Audible, and I hate
Oh.
Amazon.
Oh,
I have beef with Amazon.
I see. Well, because of the Lord of the Rings stuff, or the
Yeah, and the Wheel of Time too.
oh yeah, all the time. Gosh knows what they're gonna do with that.
Oh, I know what they're gonna do.
Did you see the trailer for it? It looks
Yeah.
pretty cringe.
It looks like a bunch of cosplayers,
Yes.
and it doesn't. Brandon Sanderson, the guy who finished the series for Robert Jordan, he said fans will be divided when the end of the season happens. So I guess they're not sticking to the books.
I was gonna say
knew
we know what
that,
that means.
Yep.
Well, jerks.
Exactly.
Well, and moving on to where it says a journey in the dark, there is another point where Gandalf is telling what would happen if they failed, because it seems like they can't get through the pass. They don't know what to do. Maybe they need to go back home. And Gandalf says to go back is to admit defeat and face worse defeat to come. If we go back now, then the ring must remain there. We shall not be able to set out again. Then sooner or later, Rivendell will be besieged, and after a brief and bitter time, it will be destroyed. The ring wraiths are deadly enemies, but they are only shadows yet of the power and terror they would possess if the ruling ring was on their master's hand again.
Yeah, the Witch King in particular. I was watching a video about who that guy was, basically. And in a lot of ways, he was a bigger threat than Sauron because he was a military genius.
Oh yeah. Yes. Agree.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was. You know, if Aragorn is level 20, then the Witch King of Agmar is level 60, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Because wasn't he like he was a king before he got turned into the Witch King, and he was a good planner and attacker. I don't remember all the details about him, but it was really interesting to hear that or to read that.
Yeah, there's it's that channel that does those Game of Thrones lore videos. They also do Tolkien lore videos, and yeah, that was. I'll see if I can find a link. It was very good to watch.
Oh, yes, please do. Please do. I'd be very interested in seeing that. Okay, and Shane Nolan points out the orc said in a scene that he was worse than Sauron. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And even more amazing when we see what ends up happening with Eowyn in The Return of the King and how he was ultimately defeated. Okay. So Narpupus says the Witch King goes back to the Second Age. Wow. So he's yikes. Yeah.
So will he be on the show then? If he goes back to the Second Age? That's a good thing to
possibly,
wonder.
Yeah,
No.
you'd think.
Oh no.
They'll turn him into the Bitch King, of course, but
His panties are always in a knot.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, we never see his penis, so he could be gender neutral.
Oh my. Steak, quit giving them ideas.
Non-binary king. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. And we have the Ancient One in the house. Thank you for all your marvelous introduction. Thank you, Ancient One. Always good to see you here. Yeah, oh gosh. I, I can see everything that you just said coming true, which is really scary.
Well, they have been saying that Sauron is non-binary because he can change form. So, and that was the OneRing.net that was spewing that stuff, and those experts they dug up, you know.
The OneRing.net was pretty awesome until Christopher Tolkien died.
Yes.
And then they went off the rails and decided to go full woke and to be under advisement of other people. And I can't believe that they're really fans of the Lord of the Rings or of Tolkien at all. I can't believe that anymore.
Certainly not. And I think it was also very sneaky of the whole lot of them that they all waited till Christopher Tolkien died, because I don't think that he would have been on board with any of this stuff with Amazon.
No, definitely not. And that's one thing I have to give him. I mean, he was a little bit grumpy, but he respected his father's vision, and he tried to make it, he tried to keep everything true to form, and you have to respect that.
Yeah. He was grumpy, eh? I must have missed that. Well, he was an old dude as well.
Exactly.
And frankly, if I live to be that old and I'm trying to preserve my father's legacy, I'd be really grumpy too.
I managed it. I managed it without protecting any legacy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, grumpy old men right here on Miss Martin Muses and grumpy old ladies. No, I'm getting incredibly grumpy in my older age rather. I'm not that old yet. Yeah, so in any case, I just love that the way that they describe what's really at stake here. That it's not like you can just put your head in the sand. It's gonna come and find you. And that's often a theme that we see also in the 20th century with history. That it's very rare that problems will stay at home, that they will eventually come and find you.
Yeah, I agree.
Though I'm all in favor of running away from all of them right now, but I digress. I have my eye on an island I'm going to go live on and be a hermit and say screw the world.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful, actually.
Yeah, let's do it. Maybe I'll invite people. I'll build a little castle there, and we can all have like our own wings and just leave each other alone and never talk to each other unless we really feel like it.
Sounds good
Excellent.
to me.
Well, we can have Twitter and just DM each other.
There you go.
There we go. There we go. If we're even allowed to have Twitter.
Exactly.
All right. And then Gandalf has to be all dramatic. The road that I speak of leads to the mines of Moria. Dun, dun, dun. And then all the others, a dread fell at the mention of that name. So it's like, we know something's going to happen.
Well, and I just want to get your point on this, Teresa. I find it really interesting, especially on the reread. And I forgot about this. But Gandalf didn't want to go to Moria in the movies. He avoided it like the plague. But in the book, he's the one that wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And it's completely different. And it's like, well, what's the logic in that? Because it seems more logical for him not to want to go. But I totally forgot. It was actually his idea to go into Moria. You know?
No, he well, that was on the mountain though, when they have to turn back. But he let Frodo decide.
But he was very insistent on it. I feel like he pushed for it.
Yeah. Or rather, he pushed for that rather than the what is it, the Gap of Rohan?
Yeah, the Gap of Rohan, because they would have had to go too far away, or I think they had to go north and then back south or something. So
yeah, the Gap of Rohan would take them closer to Saruman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Closer to Gondor.
Yeah, and yeah, it's Boromir who wants the Gap of Rohan, and he's talking about men are friendly to my people, taking the road I followed on my way hither, so we may come to Gondor from the regions nigh to the sea. But then Gandalf, yeah, these things have changed since you came north, Boromir. Did I not tell you what I told you of Saruman? The ring must not come near Isengard, for the Gap of Rohan is close to us while we go with the bear. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure I felt like he was all gung ho for it so much as he just realized that there was nowhere else to go.
He's more gung ho about it in the movie, though.
Yeah, he really is. He's very pushy for the Gap of Rohan.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Gandalf?
Oh no, sorry, Boromir. I apologize.
Boromir. Oh, yes, yes. Well, no, Boromir is. Yes. I'm sorry. No, that was Boromir that was saying that, because Boromir wanted to do that, and then Gandalf was saying no.
Yeah.
But the fact that what you were saying about Gandalf wanting to push to go to the Mines of Moria, if I heard you correctly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like he was really pushy in the book. And in the movie, he was like, I really don't want to do that. He seemed very terrified of it because he knew what waited for him. And I do think that made a lot more sense because he's a wizard, and wizards are supposed to be wise. It's part of their name.
Yeah.
So it did make a lot more sense, and it did translate better in the movie for me. I just remember that when I read that, I'm like, why would he want to do that? This is why this happened to him, so just a little bit of thought on that.
Yeah. Well, I think especially in the movie, they have to kind of clunk you over the head with it that there might be something with Gandalf that might happen and all that.
True.
Okay, and yeah, he was definitely reluctant, and and then Gimli says, "I will tread the path with you, Gandalf. I will go and look on the halls of Durin, wherever may wait there, if you can find the doors that are shut." And then he goes, "Good, Gimli," said Gandalf, "you encourage me. We will seek the hidden doors together." So off they go. And Aragorn leaps to his feet. "How the wind howls," he cried. "It is howling with wolf voices. The wargs have come west of the mountains."
Yeah, that's when they get attacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where it happens.
Yeah, they camp or something at the bottom of the mountains, and then the wolves attack.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then Legolas does his arrow thing. I mean, I just love Legolas. He became a little bit more of a legend with it, I think, because of the movie, the way all the stuff with the actor Orlando Bloom. But it's like, and then the elvish arrow goes into its throat.
Well, I feel like he was a faster shot in the book. Like, Tolkien makes him sound like he's a really fast shot. I don't think that you got to see that in the movie. Because I forget how many arrows they said that he could shoot in the book per minute or whatever, but it just sounded like he was so much faster. And in the movie, you just didn't get to see quite as much of that translated, in my opinion.
No, you only get to see it once, and that's when at the end of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
When Boromir is fighting the orcs, you see Legolas kill like 4 or 5 of them in a row.
Well, and you see it in the Mines of Moria for a second, but just for a second, when he's trying to shoot down the orcs that are shooting at them.
Yeah, but it's not the machine gun he is in the books.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. You get it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now I have this image, almost comically, of Legolas going.
Machine gun Legolas.
Machine gun Legolas. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And yeah, there's some good conversation going on. Shane says 9 in a row in extended cut. Okay, yeah, but
yeah, he didn't kill them off; he tipped them off. They all got the point before they got shafted.
Oh no!
They have to bow out.
Oh no.
Okay, and Sort of Poopa says, even though they killed a lot of wolves in that fight, there were no bodies the next morning, but the arrows were lying on the ground. That meant they weren't fighting ordinary wolves. Okay, yeah. Yes, for sure.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
almost as though they were being pushed toward Moria because anytime they were thinking maybe we need to go somewhere else, you had wolves showing up, you had weather. It was almost as
Literally,
though,
the wind did it.
yes.
Yeah.
It was as though nature itself is against them.
Yeah, which was in the movie we see it's Saruman doing spell casting, but which is probably what's happening in the book too. Because don't they say that the weather is unnatural?
Yes. Yes, they
Mhm.
do. Especially when they're on Caradras.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some writing or interview with Tolkien where he confirms it was Saruman, though.
Yeah, could be. I mean, all from
I
the
believe it.
same. Yeah. All from the same foul pot.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, Ancient One got the reference. Seek no to Shadow Jade. The wind did it. Woo. Yes, and Shane Nolan is confirming it. That Tolkien did say it, and that Saruman mutating nature with evil magic. Okay. Well, and then the very, very famous riddle on the door, the speak friend and enter.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, just a side note. You know those woke people making the Amazon show now?
Uh-huh.
They're gonna use the Saruman thing, changing the weather to preach about climate change because
Oh,
he's
no.
basically building a factory and then he can do climate change.
Oh gosh, no. No, thank you.
Can we ever watch like TV or movies anymore without being taught a lesson or without being educated? I feel like we just can't.
Yeah.
All the education you need is to watch the 18.
Okay, well, true.
That's true. Oh, yeah, well, those kind of lessons, those after school specials that we used to watch that were made for kids, that's one thing. But you're right. Every entertainment now is either some form of preaching or some form of propaganda. And the best stories kind of allow you to read and absorb and in many ways make your own conclusions. And I think,
Yeah, it's there's a difference between a life lesson
mhm.
and a political lecture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where they're just cramming it down your throat.
Yep.
Exactly. And the ones that they're pushing for in some of these, they're going to be dated
Yep.
in a
Which
few
means
years.
timeless work will be dated.
Yeah.
Which means timeless work is no longer timeless; it's destroyed.
Precisely.
Which is what happened to Star Wars, and I
Absolutely.
guess to some extent Star Trek as well. Even though I'm not a Star Trek fan at all, it still has the same timeless universal thing that Star Wars has, but not anymore.
Well, and trust me, Star Trek fans are just as upset and devastated as Star Wars fans. It's really sad. I'm not a big Trekkie. My mom is, my boyfriend is, and they are just really, really not happy with the path that it's gone down.
I saw a Star Trek themed toilet once.
Oh no.
You know what was in it?
Star poop?
No, it was the captain's log.
Oh. Okay, it took me a second. My gosh, Stieg. My
Yeah,
gosh.
it was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh no. Well, on that note, what happened next was the tentacles appear.
Yeah.
Why?
Because wasn't it Merry and Pippin that were throwing the rocks into the water?
Probably.
In the movie it was, but
Yeah.
you know who figured out the riddle to open the door? In the movie it's Frodo.
Mhm.
In the book it's Mary.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think they gave it to Frodo just to have him contribute because he's basically just being saved all the time. But it's actually Mary who figured out the riddle.
You know.
And the well, moving a little bit ahead, but you get to find out what happened to a couple of the dwarves in Moria, and I think it's Dory, um, one of the dwarves from the Hobbit. He got eaten by the thing in the pond, the tentacle beast, and the one who's holding that book in Moria, that's one of the other dwarves, the one you see have a slingshot in the Hobbit movies. So that's where they die. One gets eaten, one gets dies with a book in its palm or whatever.
Oh, well, I'll
Oh,
be
man.
darned. Well, there we
Yeah,
are.
and then you
Yeah.
have Balin, of course.
Oh. Yeah. Actually, it was Boromir. I'm looking here. Boromir was the one. He threw a big, large rock into the dark water.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was the one, and he was getting frustrated, and then that caused it. And then Frodo was like, "Why did you do that, Boromir? Don't disturb it." And they were like, "I wish I could get away."
Well, just stand there for 5 more minutes and you'll be away.
Yeah. Well, it gets a little Bill, the tentacle.
the pony. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he became a snack. Okay. And then Gandalf is being all dramatic. I will lead the way and Gimli will be with me. And that's where we see Mithril while they're there, and Frodo realizes that his armor is actually worth more, as he says, than everything in the Shire.
Yeah, that's well, if you think about it, it's unpenetrable armor, which actually makes a plot hole in the movies because Frodo gets stabbed in the stomach by Shelob
Oh, that's right.
while he's wearing the chainmail. So he should not have been pierced by that stinger from the spider as a result. So he shouldn't have been poisoned.
Huh. I will have to look at that again.
Yeah, because he gets stabbed in the stomach or chest area. And even if it did penetrate, that stinger was huge. He should have impaled him and killed him from the damage alone, except, poison aside.
Huh. Well, I'll be darned.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
The bastards. Well, and can we pause here to appreciate that after they're in and they're resting for a while, Gandalf says, "I need smoke!" Exclamation
Yeah.
point. Time out to have some
Smoke break.
Yeah.
smoke break. I need some calming, and then I'll need a snack afterwards. So
Yeah. Maybe there's something left of the pony. No. Anyway.
Oh, no.
No, well, they're already well within. It just kills me though every time he says that. It's like, I need smoke. I have not tasted it since the morning before the snowstorm, and I just imagine him just chilling, and then finally they're on.
Maybe that's why he was so chill when he's like, Mel on.
Isn't it kind of like a thing with the old professors and stuff when they were thinking, they'd lean back and smoke, which is kind of what Gandalf is doing in that mine. He's kind of thinking things through and laying a plan in his head.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And then that's when he comes up with the idea that they need to go to the right. Oh, people are pointing out, yes, Bill survived. Yes, I forgot. Yes, you are correct. And they got surprised. They thought he was dead, but he was not. He did survive. The Hobbits.
Yeah, I think they heard the pony scream.
Yeah.
But it probably got away.
Okay. Yes. Good point.
Okay,
good point. I forgot about that. You are correct. And then, Gandalf sparking pipe, weed, and brownies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, they're not brownies. They're elves.
Oh. Good reference there. A lot of people don't know about brownies and fairies and all that. So
Yeah, the brownies are in Willow.
Oh, you were right. They are. Yeah, but of course, you don't mess with fairies. Not real.
No, you'll get canceled if you mess with the fairies today.
Oh
Oh,
no.
sorry.
Oh
I
no.
am not even going to comment on that. I was talking about the mythological fairies. You don't even say their name. You're supposed to call them the good folk or the people.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Tinkerbell.
Snorta Poopus says, I had a history prof who smoked a pipe while lecturing back in the good old days. Yep. Yeah, that's what they used to do. They used to sit and think and.
Yeah, I mean, most of the pictures of Tolkien is sitting by a tree or in a chair, sucking on a pipe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's what people do. Heck, that's what people even do nowadays who smoke. They like, I need a cigarette to think it over, have a smoke and Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're wondering how they lit up. Some people, maybe
Well,
they had flint.
Gandalf he's skilled at fire magic, basically.
Oh.
That's his thing. It's fire.
Yeah.
So most likely, if he didn't have flint, he'd probably just light it some other way.
Oh, well, there you see, there you are. So if you are a smoker, it's good to have a
Fire wielding
a
wizard.
fire wielding wizard. Yeah. Okay, and then we get to the moment with Gimli. He's like, this is the great realm in the city of Dwarendalf. And then he stands up and begins to chant in a deep voice while the echoes ran away into the roof. There you go, Steve.
Yeah.
Echoing all throughout the hall. And it goes on for 2 pages. It's good.
Summoning the Balrog.
Yeah. Like, just in case of the bad guys. But that didn't bother the bad guys, but the pebble did.
In the movie, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was in the book too. Let me see. But yeah, he sits up and sings. But I do like the way that they describe he began to chant in a deep voice so that his singing wasn't necessarily the same as the others. A dwarf would be different than maybe a hobbit. Maybe a little more manly.
Yeah, more... yeah, because the dwarves are basically, the manly men of Middle-earth. They're greedy and they're beardy and...
Real grungy. Yeah.
Yeah. Very dangerous on short distances, right?
Yeah.
They're basically little tanks. They're armored. They're, wielding axes and,
Yeah, well, you want to have a dwarf with you.
Oh yeah, the dwarves are the best race in fantasy and Tolkien. All who deny that are my foes.
They're good fighters and they're tough.
Yeah. I would not dare do so. Oh my gosh, a lot of people. Hobbits had matches, okay, and the whole point of learning magic to light my pipe.
Yep.
He was so proud. Oh, poor Gimli. Oh, hello, Into Derivative Jill. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
Yeah. And the hobbits had a lot of things that were more technologically advanced than anyone else in the books. Matches, clocks, clever little folk. Oh my gosh, Ron says he sounded like a goth version of Liberace.
No, it sounded like Leonard Cohen.
Singing man, manly man, doo 2.5 men theme. Understood. Okay, so that is the dwarves, and he's a small tank. And then they run across a sad tomb, and when they finally read it, here is written in the tongues of men and dwarves, Balin, son of Fúdin, lord of Moria. That Balin is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah, because Gimli was all excited about his cousin, and he's going to give us a feast. It's going to be great, and then to find his body like that, that's got to be rough.
Yeah, they're like, there's no feast, there's just bones.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the guy though who played Balin in the Hobbit movies, he was tremendously good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did like his portrayal of Balin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the best dwarf actor in it. even though the actor's not a dwarf, but you know.
Well, I thought they were all exceptionally cast in The Hobbit. I loved Thorin, and of course, I loved Gilly.
Yeah, which means 6 of the dwarves from the hobbits are now dead.
Yeah.
Because they had Filian, Killian, Thorin, right?
Yeah.
So 6 out of, what was it, 13 dwarves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Half the dwarfs are dead. You'd think Bumber would be dead, though, because he was like enormous and he couldn't even move.
Yeah, he was the biggest one.
Yeah. Yeah, if he had been a wizard, he would have been a fortune teller.
Oh my
Oh, no.
gosh.
But
Well, there we go. And let me see. They said that they had okay. After they're done reading all about that, they hear the doom, 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 and the bad guys come. So there are orcs, many of them, and some are large and evil. Well, thank you. I'm really glad you're here to tell us these things, Gandalf.
yeah.
Yeah, and they don't fight the troll in the book. They just mention they have a cave troll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to mention the movies again, though, when you see Moria, when you get to see the whole, the big hall and stuff like that, the wide shot in the movie, that's amazing.
Yes, it really is.
Oh gosh, and the music and
Yeah,
they did it so well.
and I want to watch that in 4K. I don't have a 4K TV though, but I will eventually. But it looks fantastic on Blu-ray too.
Oh, it really does. I have the Blu-rays. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the extended ones, I hope.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the only way to do it. Now, The Hobbit, no, I feel like those movies extended were a little bit much, but Lord of the Rings, I do have the extended versions of all.
The extended version of the second Hobbit book was pretty good because you
Okay.
get that plot line with Thorin's dad,
Oh,
which was just left out of the cinematic version, and there's more Beorn in the extended second movie.
oh,
Oh,
We'll have
yeah,
to
that
check it
was a
out.
little bit of a motivation for him.
Yeah, and in the third one, basically in the third one, the only extended bits is the battle takes longer and it's even more cartoonish. You have a Legolas hanging upside down under a bat,
Oh, no.
and there's like 2 rows of orcs coming up a hill, and he just lowers his arms and holding the daggers, and he slits the throat out of about 50 orcs by just
Yeah.
holding
Yeah,
the
it was
dagger.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it seems like overkill.
yeah, it just the Hobbit movies are great until there's action scenes, because
Yeah.
then they turn completely cartoony.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like a video game, with cheat codes.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like Legolas looks pretty cartoony in those movies because I guess they were trying to de-age Orlando Bloom too much. He just doesn't look very good in those movies, It doesn't look believable.
It's not Legolas, it's Legolas's evil twin.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Which is weird because they added a Toriel character, which I don't really have a problem with that character, except for she's not in the book.
Exactly.
But her action scenes were fine. They actually weren't over the top. But as soon as Orlando Bloom is doing any kind of action, it's like the Matrix times 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why didn't he do that in the Fellowship of the Ring?
Yeah, he could have won the game so much earlier,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very much like a video game. Absolutely. Well, so off they go to the bridge of Khazad-dûm, and they keep hearing these noises and thunks, and then there's this big fire, but it was not. And then the elf was suddenly filled with terror, but it was not the trolls that had filled the elf with terror. And he wails, I tell you. I wailed Legolas, a Balrog is come.
Yeah, and that's good continuity because the Balrogs are mentioned in the Silmarillion, I believe, and they did
Yes.
big time harm to the elves.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
elves really fear them because of the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you've got Legolas wailing, you know you're in deep crap, and Gimli's Durin's Bane, and Gandalf just mutters a Balrog. Now I understand. What an evil fortune. And then over the bridge they go, and of course we get the very, very famous moment where he goes, "You cannot pass," which everyone still uses. I mean,
You,
it's
you know how to completely lock a situation? You put Gandalf in front of the Black Knight from the Monty Python movie. So you have none shall pass, and Gandalf goes, "You shall not pass." We're just gonna stand there and say it to each other forever.
Oh my goodness.
oh my gosh. Well, and then he says all his big line, "I am a servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Anor. You cannot pass. The dark fire will not avail you. Flame of Udun, go back to the shadow. You cannot pass." And Aragorn's like, "He cannot stand alone." And he shouts, "Elendil, I am with you, Gandalf." And Boromir cries, "Gondor," leaps after him. So you see, Boromir was all cool. He was always wanting to help and everything.
Yeah.
And then at that moment, Gandalf lifted his staff and crying aloud, he smote the bridge before him, and all that happens. And with a terrible cry, the Balrog fell forward. But even as it swung its whip, the thongs lashing curled around the wizard's knees, dragging him to the brink. He staggered and fell, grasped vainly for the stone, and slid into the abyss. "Fly, you fools," he cried, and
Yeah.
was gone.
And
That's such a great line.
a lot of
Yeah.
people seem to think when Gandalf said "Fly, you fools," it is Gandalf telling them to use the eagles. It isn't.
No.
No.
Fly in this case is just an old
Run.
English, yeah, an old English term for run. Basically,
flee.
run like the wind. That's what he means.
Yeah.
And something that I find really interesting about the books that they didn't do in the movies, because they waited until Return of the King to give Aragorn his sword, but he has it in the Fellowship.
Yes.
He has the reforged sword from Isildur, or from Elendil. And I just thought that was really interesting on the reread a couple years back. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But in the third movie, you're just like so excited to see him finally get it,
I think they did it so that Arwen will get something to do, so we don't just see Arwen in the first movie, and then we don't see her until the end of the third one. So I think they changed it just to have her be able to do something on screen.
Yeah. Or maybe trying to keep it with a theme like he's ready now to become the king. "Oh, look, here's my sword."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was reforged at the Rivendell and
Yeah.
before he left. That was good
Right.
good point.
Here's a wedding gift. You're like, cool.
Yeah.
Magic sword.
Yeah, could have used this sooner.
Yeah, thanks for that, man. No,
Thanks, but no thanks, jerks.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just he's like, "You cheap ass bitch, you just fixed up something that was broken. Can you get me a new one?"
Oh no.
How come I get a used one and this guy got a new one?
Yeah. Got it from a thrift store.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was. Snortopoopa says he was carrying the broken Endor all along, and the reforged Endor after they left. Yes, after they left Rivendell. Yeah. And the grief that they felt. It says here, they wept long, some standing in silence, some cast upon the ground, and they did a real good job of that in the movie where they showed that.
Yeah.
Also, they have a continuity thing going there with the Hobbit movie, because when you see those scenes where Thorin's grandfather gets killed.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're battling the orcs. That's outside that gate you see in the Fellowship of the Ring, where they exit after Gandalf fell. It's the same slopes.
Oh,
Yeah, so the Peter Jackson did good continuity there.
yay. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. I mean, he knows his stuff. I often think what happened with The Hobbit was there was maybe a bit of studio interference too, where they were like, we want to have 3 movies, so he had
No,
to.
nope. What happened was all kinds of other people were going to make the movie, and eventually Peter Jackson just said, "Okay, fine, I'll do it," but they didn't give him enough time, so he had like 2 or 3 weeks just to come up with a storyboard. So everything in it is rushed, and he added action stuff and funny things here and there just to make sure the audience was at least entertained. If
Wow.
if the movie didn't end up as well as they hoped, but with the Lord of the Rings, he had a lot of time to prep the movies before he started shooting. And in this case, he didn't. It was going to be Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he originally was the director for The Hobbit, and it was going to
Yeah,
be, I think, 2 movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think so. And then Peter Jackson basically just had to take over and fix the mess, and he did not get enough time. And I remember Peter Jackson saying that the movies would have been different if he had had more time. Which is also, I think, why he did a lot of CGI stuff instead of using models, because models take time to make.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I guess what I meant by studio interference, I was also referring to the fact that they made it 3 films instead of 2. I think that the original plan was 2.
Yeah, it was a weird cutoff with the dragon,
Oh,
the second one, but
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have to have that stupid, amusement park ride where they're being chased by the dragon for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a river, let's ride a shield on it. Yeah, a flaming molten metal river.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, but they did have to add something with the dragon though, because he's built up as this huge threat. But in the book, it's just like he flies over to and torches Lake Town, and then he gets shot and dies.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything else except threaten Bilbo a bit.
Yeah, like play around with Bilbo. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said play around with Bilbo.
Well, you know.
Dildo?
No.
Oh, Bilbo. Sorry.
Oh no.
No.
That would be never mind. I was going to say to make a dragon happy, that would have to be a really big one. But
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
Good thing Father Miller's not around.
Dildo Baggins from Back's End.
Oh my gosh.
Like, want to blow the horn of Gondor, baby? That's
Oh my gosh, Stig.
there and in the back again now. Throbbing tail by Dildo Baggins.
I'm surprised those haven't been made into adult films already.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah. Oh gosh, like those adult films they make of
The
Captain
Marvel
Marvel,
films? Yeah.
Yeah.
and Batman.
Part 3, Return of the Kink.
Oh. Oh no. So what would be the 2 towers?
2 dragons?
Oh, or what do you call it? Or the Fellowship of the Ring, but the Fellowship of
The Fellowship in the Ring?
Oh no. Oh boy. And yeah. You Shall Not Pass has a total different
Gimli, son of groin.
Oh.
Well, Yeah, shame, shame, shame. What Father Miller would do, and yeah, whoa, yeah, wrong. Yeah, this stream just totally went into another hemisphere.
Yeah, it's that Rennie lady. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be me since I'm the newbie.
yeah,
Yeah, I never
Maddie.
say anything like this.
Oh, get out.
Oh my. Well, this is where we're gonna pause our stuff because the rest of it will be going into deep into Lothlorien, and
Oh,
then
side note. If you remember the early, I think it was the early teaser trailer or the first trailer for the movie, you see a little clip of the Fellowship entering Lorien because they're in a forest, and you see Boromir in the background, and you see Orlando Bloom spin around and fire an arrow, I think, and that's from a deleted scene. Peter Jackson said there was an action scene where the orcs followed the Fellowship out from Moria and chased them off to Lorien, where there was a fight scene. But they cut it because they had already had a couple of fight scenes, and it would be one too many, basically.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Makes
and I
sense.
think it would have ruined the mood too. It wouldn't have.
Yeah, because you see them run to Lorien, right?
Yeah.
In wide shots and stuff. That's because they're being chased.
Oh.
Yeah, because
So
in the
there's-
book, I want to say they were chased, but I don't remember there being a battle or, a showdown right at Lothlorien.
Yeah, I think they were being attacked by orcs, and then the Lorien elves would show up and help them. Something
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
also, do you know how the elves have such shiny hair?
No, Steak, how do they have it?
They wash it in Lothlorien.
But tis. Oh.
Oh boy. Yeah, so I think the next stream will bring it all home with Lothlorien and then all the way up to when the Fellowship breaks up. It's so sad.
Oh, that is a sad part. I always get like a little teary-eyed during that part, because it starts with Boromir dying and the Sam and Frodo taking off and then Boromir passing, and it just
Yeah,
Oh.
they spot Gollum following them
yeah.
on a log,
Yes, you're right.
which also connects with the Hobbit because he uses a log there too in that little lake in the cave.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's but the ending of that movie was done perfectly. They stuck to the books very closely, and they certainly got the mood of the ending of that book. Actually, it's not the ending of the book because Boromir, they find Boromir at the beginning of Two Towers.
Oh, I think you are correct.
Yes, because
Yeah.
the first chapter is like it's called the last passage of Boromir or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they did like one chapter of the Two Towers basically at the end of Fellowship, which makes for a better ending to the movie.
Oh,
Otherwise, they would have ended when they hear the horn, Boromir's horn or whatever, and there's orcs everywhere, and you can't end the movie with that.
yeah. No.
And then
No.
have to wait a year to see how it ends or how it plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it made it a better cliffhanger too because you knew that the hobbits were kidnapped and they said we're going to go get him, let's go hunt some orc, and Frodo and them leave, and it also finishes up.
Merry and Pippin haven't been taken away.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 stories set up.
Yeah. And it wraps up Boromir's story.
Yep.
Because he was done with it.
Otherwise, they would. Well, he is in the second one too, in the extended version.
Yeah.
But
as a flashback.
Yeah. And a fun fact: the guy Denethor, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is not in the second movie, except for in the extended one. He is introduced in the extended version, which has never happened
Yeah.
in a movie before, where a major character is introduced in a director's cut, basically.
You are correct.
But I like getting that little glimpse of Denethor before you really get to know him. You know, it just shows
Yeah.
like what a creep and a weasel he is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap! What an actor, though.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. He's so mean to
Faramir.
I know, it's like he's like the brothers are all happy, and then he's like, "What's wrong?" It's like, "It's father," and then he's like, "Hi, you're great, Boromir. Faramir, you suck, Faramir."
Yeah.
and it's like, I want to give you a hug.
Exactly. And Faramir was the more pure of heart, you know, and you just feel bad for him. He's such a good guy. He
Yeah,
almost lets himself get corrupted by the ring and then turns away from it. His brother couldn't do that. He didn't have the strength.
yeah. He's a sensitive one. I don't know if they ever really explain it. We'll have to see, I guess, when we get to those parts in the book about why he had such an issue with him, unless it's just that he was all corrupted.
Yeah, I think he's corrupted by. He has a palantir,
Yeah,
Yes.
it drives him kind
and
of
that's
mad.
what kind of seems to have corrupted Saruman too.
Well, I want to say that they explain in the book that is it Sauron that like basically like gets into their heads through the Palantir
Yeah,
and just kind of corrupts them both.
yeah, and it's kind of confirmed by Pippin when he looks into the palantir and he sees Sauron, and
Yeah.
he says, Sauron heard him and stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, he sees who's on the other end of the line.
Exactly.
You know?
Mistakenly, but at least that gives them a little bit of a leg up. Not much.
Yeah, but it also confirms that that's the guy corrupting the others with a palantir, right?
Exactly.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. And some people are saying some things about him. I think they had Denethor too creepy, says Snortopupus, too soon in the movies. Too creepy, too soon. In the books, you had a sense of his decline and fall. Yes. And
Yeah.
Actually, they do it a little bit in the movie, but in the books, Denethor is very kind to Pippin.
Yes.
He takes
He
a
loves
liking to Pippin. So you see a more human Denethor, I think, in the books. But you do have a couple of scenes where Denethor is kind of taking a little bit of a liking to Pippin, but then he makes him sing and stuff when Faramir is out dying.
yeah.
So it's kind of, which doesn't happen I don't think that happens does that happen in the book when he forces him to attack Asciliath with like a shit force? I don't think that happens. I think Faramir just gets injured.
Yeah, I think he gets injured, but I don't remember the reason.
Well, he did send him out to fight, because they do have that moment where he's like, "You wish Boromir."
It was me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was me that died instead of Boromir.
Yeah, in the movie, yes, but I don't think that's in the book.
I think it is actually. Well, actually, don't quote me now. Of course, now I don't know, but
It's like we should have read the book before we.
I know. Well, we're not on Return of the King yet. I'm
definitely
almost
need to
positive
reread
that
it.
was in the book. I'm almost positive. Help me out, Chad. Help me out, Chad. Okay, Shane says he was leading a rear guard retreat.
Yeah. Because I want to say I thought I remembered something similar, but it didn't quite go down just the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to reread it.
Yeah, Snortopupus says it's in the book. Yay, he agrees with me.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and then he remembered him. Oh, he reminded Denethor of his wife. Yeah, I haven't read it in a while. I think that's the way a lot of us are. That's the way a lot of us are. Well, hey, it's time to wind up this party. Thank you so much, Stieg and Rennie, for being on the panel today. And hello, Subhuman. Sorry, you just came
Hi.
in. Thank you for popping in.
Hey,
and saying
Subhuman.
hi. Yes, and thank you for.
You know what? A subhuman is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Well played. Well
Nice.
played. Well, thank you for coming in. Thank you, Ron Fiasco, been here the whole time. Thank you, Smortapoopus. Yes, you've been here. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Anti-Derivative Jill. Thank you, Pudentame.
Yeah.
Let me make
The-
sure I get
the-
everyone. Oh, of course. Thank you, Awesome One. Tech
The
44.
the chat has been amazing today. Really contributing and offering a lot of insights. Top
Absolutely.
notch chat.
Yeah.
Yay to
Chat
the
was
chat.
really awesome with their attention to detail.
See, oh, speaking of which, here's some more. Yes, Anti-Derivative Jail says, I read and reread Fellowship way more and Twin Towers a few more times. Return of the King the last for some reason. Snortapoopus. Faramir
It
hopes
is.
that Denethor will think better of him when he gets back. And Denethor says that would depend on the manner of his return.
Yep.
And Ron Fiasco says, have a maximum pleasant day all. I'll follow
Aw.
everyone. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And and everyone follow him as well. Follow Ron. And thank you, Shane. Thank you, Keck. Thank you, everyone. Yes, it's been a great discussion. So have a fantastic day, everyone.
I don't know if I want to follow someone named Fiasco. It can't it can't possibly end well.
Oh, poor guy.
Thank you, Steve. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. Oh, wait. Oh, my gosh. In comes Liquid Blade. You are welcome, Steve. I contributed nothing, but I will take all the credit. Yes, we love you, Australia.
Yeah, take it. You can have it, all of it, the whole bucket.
Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain if you come late to a chat, take all the credit.